Hey friends, so welcome to DBC Fall 2020 PD Series Facebook Live. We are super duper excited that you decided to join us tonight on a Thursday night for just a few minutes to chat about some fun things that maybe you can try in your classroom. I will remind you that every single comment over in the comment section is entered to win a free book. So if you're joining in, please do tell us who you are, what you are. Hey, we have a special guest. I'm going to introduce her in just 1 second. But she just popped in, so I'm super excited. But please do, as you're joining in, tell us who you are, what you do, where you're from. And I'm not exactly seeing the comments, but we've had all kinds of tech issues this evening. So I'm going to pull it up on my phone so I can see those comments and introduce our guest. So today I can see y'all now. There's people here. There's people here, their comments are just not showing up. Okay, so today I was thinking, what will we talk about on our PD for DBC Facebook Live? And I couldn't wait to share some of the ideas I used in an interactive workshop, hybrid style, yesterday in Wisconsin, and they all involved, the ones I wanted to talk about tonight involved Flipgrid. So I messaged my awesome friend, who I'm super excited I can see now.
Oh my gosh, hello.
Dan! So Ann Kozma is the Flipgrid queen, and I'm super duper excited that she said, yeah, I'll join you. Like, please. Because one of the ideas we used was one of yours. And so I'm like, man, it'd be awesome if we had Ann on the show. Boom.
When you get a DM from your friend Tara Martin, who you haven't seen in months and months and months, the only answer is yes. Of course I'll be there.
I love you. And she's the busiest creature ever. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's going to join us. So please do. Welcome, Melissa. We're super excited to have you here today. As you're joining in, tell us who you are, where you're from. All the comments will be entered to win a free book of choice from our DBC collection. So yeah, interact with us. Tell us what you love, what you don't love, what you've tried, what didn't work. Hey, Lisa, welcome. And all comments entered to win a free book. So you definitely want to do that. Hey, Dave. So he said, thank you for joining
us, Ann. Of course. Hello, my friend.
Super excited. All right. So we try to make these PD minutes just short and sweet. We know you guys got to get kids to bed. You got to eat dinner, take a nap. You've been working hard all day. And we know that back to school this year is just weird. Just understatement weird. Dave said he hopes he wins the free book. Hot mess right there. Hey, Kathleen, welcome. Hey, Kathy, oh, that's so exciting. All right, so we are going to be talking a little bit about things you can do in the first few days in anywhere learning settings. I think that is something that yesterday I worked with over 400 teachers and we did the hybrid model PD. It was really interesting because what happened was I would work with several hundred of them live, a couple hundred live, and then the rest were Zoom, like on Zoom. And then I would travel to the next location and work with some more live. And the others were Zoom. And then some more live. Because they had to stay 6 feet apart. We all had to wear masks. And so it was kind of the hybrid model that a lot of middle schools and high schools are using with the AV setting. So they are using that too. So we were modeling it with PD. And during our interactive workshop, Ann, I tried to provide them with tools that they could do, like that, where everyone gets an opportunity to respond no matter where they're at. So we called them anywhere learning opportunities to respond. And we used Flipgrid, and you will be so proud of them. There's over 200 little faces of them doing what's in a bag. They only one item, but it was just the cutest thing ever. And they all, like, everybody was participating all over the district. So I just am so excited to have you here, Ann. I want you to formally introduce yourself. Tell them who you are better than me. Like, she's my favorite person in the world, but other than that, what you do. And then we're going to dive into some content of what they can actually do this few weeks.
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, thank you. And thank you to DBC Inc. Not only for hosting this summer PD or the PD Fall 2020 sessions here on the Facebook page, but Tara, as mentioned, you're such a dear friend. I know we've been connected for years, and it's always a treat to get to connect and talk and share and brain zing with you. So thanks for sending that DM. So for anybody tuning in, my name is Ann Kozma, and I work. I'm what's called an educator innovation lead on Team Flipgrid. So when I explain what that means to people, I say I'm a teacher helping teachers. So I spent the last 16 plus years in Southern California as a classroom teacher and as a K-8 innovation TOSA in my school district, which stands for Teacher on Special Assignment. So my job was to be a teacher helping other teachers explore the innovative and instructional use of technology in the classroom to transform teaching and learning. And I have an experience in my own classroom. We went one-to-one in 2010. So I was an iPod Touch, iPad Mini, and iPad teacher with my first grade students, and fell in love with Flipgrid when I was a TOSA in my district using it with teachers. So hearing about the PD that you're doing, that's exactly how I started with Flipgrid. I was teaching people all kinds of really cool things like book snaps and green screening and Flipgrid and podcasting in the classroom. And about 2 years ago, I joined Team Flipgrid, and I have the extreme honor to serve other educators and help them see how they can use Flipgrid to help students share, celebrate, and showcase their unique voice.
I love it. And you're like the perfect person for the job. Perfect. And am I having a little delay? Sorry about that. No. Okay, good. I can see comments now too, so I'm really excited.
Okay.
Things are clicking right when we're getting to the content. Yes, and showing them just different ways to interact. We of course did book snaps because why wouldn't we? And we did a lot of other activities. And there were several from the website, like Matt Miller recently shared just multiple ways to use Flipgrid, and several of them were your activities. And I'm like, so anything that says Ann on it is tried and true. Like, it's good stuff. And so, so I hope your ears were burning yesterday. I shouted you out.
Aww.
And I'm so excited that you're here to join us today. So what I want us to share with just the audience is just some different ways to use Flipgrid. One of the ways that I used it with the staff yesterday was what's in a bag. I think it was one of your ideas that's in Flipgrid, and I may not have done it exactly correctly, but everybody chose one item from their bag that represented them, and they all shared for 1 minute and 30 seconds. They all had 3 minutes to get to a spot, record, and then come back, and we had to stay 6 feet apart. There you go. Look at
From
you.
Jess Boyce. It's from Jess Boyce, but it's a great topic to get to know a participant or anybody in the room.
Yeah, totally. What we did is everyone shared that one item, how it represented them, and then right after that, we commented on two. So I allowed them to go and to comment on a couple, and showing them how we can teach digital citizenship at the same time that we're getting to know each other.
Yeah.
So I know there's a billion ways to do them. I have Flipgrid, how to use them with shorts videos, with our book snaps, and just all kinds of fun stuff. But what I want you to share is just what are some of your go-tos for the back to school? It doesn't necessarily have to be the first day, but couple of the first few weeks.
So I love hearing about that, because not only as you're getting to know your own professional community in PD, the teachers, new teachers, to the school, to the campus, to the district, that is a fun outside the box question. It's Jess Boyce. It's my teammate and friend's her topic. Listen, I'm going to change my screen again, and so I'll zoom in on some of this. But friends, if you're brand new to Flipgrid and you've never clicked on that Discovery tab, check it out, because the Discovery library is just rich, full of all kinds of content. But I'm going to zoom down to this conversation starters, because these are great topics that you can use to sort of get an idea. And this is just one of those
We
ideas.
talked about that one too.
Yeah. So, Tara, this is just a fun topic that's using that pixel filter, but it's playing the guess who game. So students could reveal clues, they could use emojis, they could share 3 facts about themselves. And when you think about why are we doing this in the first few weeks of school, it's all community building. And I did
Mhm.
this in my own classroom. Is I would get, and I knew, I felt the need, okay, I have to get right into all the academic content, but I always slowed it down to make connections. And the first week, the first 2 weeks of school was community building and establishing relationships and getting to know who the individuals in my classroom were. So, a guess who game, a what's in your bag game. Another one that I have, I'm going to switch the camera. I don't want to make anybody seasick. So,
Oh, you're doing awesome. We love it.
yeah, so this one is all about me, and it's just another topic. But what it really truly is a play to learn experience that is getting folks to use the tools within the Flipgrid camera. And you can find all of these topics just by coming into that discovery library and scrolling right down and using those conversation starters. So if you're looking for other topics, click on the back to school topics, and you have things like identity, diversity, my generation, my pronouns. What is my name? What does my name mean? So topics where you give people the opportunity to push buttons and play to learn and share about themselves. Those are the most powerful ones that jump out at me when I think back to school, a return to school, and community building.
I love it. And one of the things that we talked about in my PD yesterday, we were brainstorming all kinds of ways, and I was sharing just some different ideas that I did like as a district administrator. So if you're an administrator listening in today, you can use this in so many ways with your professional, with your adult community too. And with the hybrid nature of our learning, everything's in Zoom, but a lot of times people can't make a Zoom meeting because there are still thousands of other meetings going on at the same time. So one of the things I did as a district admin of multiple coaches across the district, we would hold meetings in Flipgrid. So basically I would post the topic, everyone responded to the topic, and then they responded to each other. And then by the time we got to our actual face-to-face meeting, we had a very clear idea of what we were going to be talking about. I centered the entire 25 minutes because that's all we had to get the topic nailed down. But truly, we had met for a little while ahead of time in our jammies when it was convenient to respond to this topic. And so I think there's just so many great ways. And think about how you could do that with students. Maybe you're really trying to nail down a lesson, but you want a little bit of student feedback at the onset. Flipgrid's a great place for that too.
And a really cool hack I just saw Dr. Randall Sampson share out on Twitter is he was in his Zoom or Google Meet or Microsoft Teams meeting. And when you're in that live call, bring up the Flipgrid camera and you can just transfer into that camera and demonstrate the tool and do that teaching lesson or teach them how to use it. I always say it's so simple, push a few buttons and you'll totally get how to do it. But you could make the asynchronous in the synchronous meeting and totally just exchange back and forth. So I love hearing your example about how you can utilize it to support professional learning, educators, and the real secret to like my heart as a teacher helping teachers is I want to model lifelong learning, and I want to model taking risks, and I want to model for educators that, hey, this might be a new tool to me, but I'm going to play with it. I'm going to learn how to use it because that's the same thing my students are going through, right? And we're all doing this together and encouraging each other along the way.
Agreed. Another thing we did, Ann, and I'm sure you've done this before too, but we were talking about, so at the upper levels, I first presented high school. And with our high school teachers, they do have to meet, they have like an interesting time schedule of their meetings, but they wanted to have some time for one-on-one for all their students, and they weren't able to set up the Zoom call meetings where they could individually check in with all those kids. And they had like 120 kids or something, like really a lot of kids. And we were talking about how we can have this opportunity for a one-to-one meeting with Flipgrid, a check-in with the student where you can toggle it in a way that only you and the student can see it, and they have the opportunity to be able to talk to you. So one of the things that we were stressing in the professional development of my workshop yesterday was that this is almost like a cool opportunity, because what chances did you have before face-to-face to meet with all 120 of your kids? Like none. Like
exactly. That's a great point. And so that feature is called video moderation. And so if an educator toggles that on, it will keep every response private, whether it's a virtual inbox or a help desk, whether it's an assessment component, or whether it's that like back and forth exchange with formative feedback or something like that. All you have to do is use that video moderation feature, and then you can keep those responses private. Or if you just want to preview them before you make them public, use it for something like that as well.
It's so true. And it's so easy to do. And I told them, like, this is a beautiful way to get to see the human behind the tech, because that's what we're all about. That's what I'm all about. The real person behind the tech. That's what we want to see in everything that we do. So with those open-ended responses that you were talking about, questions at the onset that they respond to, and then also with this opportunity to be able to meet with my teacher and tell them what's going on, and them to respond back in video. That's just cool. But a couple other fun things that I saw in the discovery area, but also we brainstormed some ways yesterday too, was even like school-wide talent shows. So should we go completely virtual? They talked about like their school-wide talent show at the middle school level is a big deal. And so they're like, we could maybe do our school-wide talent show like this if we had to. Have you seen that?
Yeah, we've seen that. We've seen the Masked Singer. One of the tweets this spring that just made my heart melt was an educator that tweeted about a virtual pet parade that their community did. And she said, hands down, it's been my favorite thing I've ever done as a teacher. But think about that. Like, what if somebody has a unique pet that's part of their family? And that's just another connection that you can use to help that student, or you can use to connect with that student. So yeah, school-wide tiny talent shows, those masked singers using the effects in the camera. I'm telling you, I on social every day, my heart just melts with the insanely amazing creative community celebrations that are continuing on despite all the other chaos.
It's so true. And I think it just gives us, I'd always used Flipgrid, like I said, for different little things. But what I found is there's just so many ways. And what we missed so much during quarantine was that human connection. And the video features just gives you that. It gives, even with my friends, I never needed to video chat them when I took a walk before. But then I'm like, hey, would anybody like to FaceTime me when I take a walk? Because you crave that when we're not getting to see each other. So I love all these ideas. I think it's just so fun. I think there was one more that came to mind that was so fun. I'll let you chat for a little bit more. If you have a couple more to share, and I want to try to.
So I'm going to actually turn the camera around again and apologize in advance. There we go. So again, I just want to let folks know, if they're brand new to Flipgrid, all of this is just nested under that Discovery tab. And what it is a database of over 25,000 topics by featured educators. And I'm going to zoom in on some of those, but we have a topic of the day, a wonder of the day, and I'm going to click right here on all of this partner content and show you incredible, incredible partners that are giving away their content, right? So we just welcomed new folks like the Langston League that has this decolonized series. And this is all about culturally responsive teaching. And listen, in some of these topics, friends, it's professional development too for educators. So you're finding just incredible, incredible things. We just welcomed Minecraft education in. We have another partner called Made by Dyslexia. So when you think about empowering your students and superpowers for learning, you will just find incredible rich content. But what I want to show you is, again, these collections. So that conversation starters, the back to school, the conversations about race, equity, and justice. And then I'm going to slide over to this one. This is all about social emotional learning. So all you do is literally click on the topic, see what's being shared, and then add it to your group or topic, and you can use it right away. So
So
endless possibilities, and it's just there at your fingertips.
yes, yes, yes. Oh,
So,
I was asking about mixtapes.
yeah. So, Melissa, I just saw that pop up on the screen. Mixtapes, for the friends who are not familiar with them, are those epic highlight reels that you get to create. I made tons of mixtapes in the 80s.
Me too.
But if you think
Love
about,
one.
right, if you think about documenting growth over time or having that portfolio piece for a student, you could use any of their video responses and pop it into an individual mixtape. And then there's that incredible documentation. There's that incredible celebration of learning and the journey. There's that evidence that you have of all of the growth that happens over a school year. So, whether it's student portfolios, whether it's what you want them to share for a conference, or whether it's a highlight reel for an event that your school is having, we're telling you, my friend Jornay says, if you can think it, you can Flipgrid it, and really truly,
True, true.
you can.
Yes. So there's one cool idea that you use and Flipgrid that I actually love, and it's called Would You Rather. I want you to share a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I play this game with my sister, and it's called Would You Rather, where you actually ask those kinds of questions. I'm going to search this real quick. Would you rather? And so I know I created one that would just be a way that you could play. Let's see if we can find this real quick. One more pop around. So this one is called Would You Rather? And I gave simple examples like, whoa, here we go. Would you rather be a unicorn or a genie? Be a dancer or a singer? Be a famous artist or author? Eat donuts or a watermelon? Ride a scooter or ride a bike? So anything. This could be simple like that as a get to know you. I've seen Kristen Merrill do this with content area in math. So I did that, right? Would you rather have 3 grapes or 5 grapes? And of course, maybe that's my first grade teacher example, but any curricular focused area or skill, you could customize it for that content area and ask a bunch of questions and ask somebody to rationalize, use the language, use the vocabulary, and prove their choice and why.
It's so fun. And how many teens like love this game? Like I see it on Instagram all the time. I follow a bunch of Caleb's friends and they
Yeah.
follow me. And it's like, would you rather? And they have like 2 choices and you just tap it.
Yeah.
But it's a fun way to get to know people too. That would be a great back to school one, I think. Right
So
off.
yeah, and I just come back to one of the things that I've been really impacted by lately. One of our discovery partners is called Find Your Grind, and their chief heart officer, that's his title. I love this. His name's Mike Smith, and he says, it's his hashtag, you can't cancel community. And I love that idea. And I'm just so inspired every day when we see these examples of not only, the students who are finding and using their voice for the first time, or the gosh, we hear just these powerful stories. One of our friends, her daughter is a selective mute, and she has gained confidence in sharing her voice and creates Flipgrids with ease and creativity and shares her voice. And I just cry when I see these examples, and come back to, it can be as simple like, hey, this is my name, this is how you pronounce my name, but there's so much power in that.
Mhm.
Or hey, I'm going to talk about this would you rather math and explain my reasoning about why I would this instead of this? It's goodness gracious, endless possibilities.
So I love that you shared about the select mute. We had, so one of the stories I share in Be Real was a select mute who found book snaps to be her language, because she didn't have to speak. But what happened was they uploaded them into a community where people could comment back and forth, and that could be Flipgrid.
Mm-hmm.
That could be Flipgrid. And she was able to text her comments back and forth, and people were seeing her personality, which was super sassy and really funky. And she was a senior in high school, and these kids have gone to school with her since she was 5 years old, and that's when she became a select mute, which is trauma in her life. And yeah, found her voice using a social media platform, an app that she felt safe with. And I think that's the key, that sometimes just being able to sit with a video is less scary than talking to your entire classroom, but yet you still have that ability to engage with everyone and build that community. So I love Flipgrid on every level. I think it's just the most fun, and it's so easy. Like, honestly, if I can do it with 500 educators sitting in front of me and they all get to do it, you can do it. I promise.
But I love that, Tara, and I love that you're taking a moment like to share about those PD stories, because it's having that opportunity to slow it down and play to learn sometimes, right? And when educators push all the buttons, they say, "Oh, yeah, I can do that." And here are 84,000 ways and ideas I already have for how my students could use them, And yeah, I mean, I could talk all day about this,
I do, and I love it. And I hope that all of you in the chat, by the way, thanks for joining our show, will find ways to use Flipgrid. I saw Scott has dropped some YouTube videos in here, but honestly, go to the Flipgrid site. It's just flipgrid.com, I think. Yeah, it's flipgrid.com. And go to Discovery. That's how I found a lot of cool ideas. And when I'm in my professional development setting, I will ask the teachers to brainstorm. They have 4 minutes to brainstorm how they would use Flipgrid in their classroom. And right now, doing the hybrid model, it's so beautiful because I can go back to the Zoom and see the jillions of ideas that they've come up with for using it in their own learning setting. And so do that with your students. Try an activity with them and then say, what else could we do in this app? Because I bet their ideas are off the charts too.
Yeah, I love that too. And think about empowering like community to share about like, oh, hey, this is one idea I have to impact my learning, and let students have that voice and that space to share their ideas. I love it. I love it.
Yes. Well, Ann, is there any last minute things you want to share with the teachers before we let them go?
Well, I am going to navigate to this screen one more time. And friends, if you do find yourself in a remote learning situation, or even if you're not remote learning, you're face to face, all of these ideas are still applicable. But we just dropped a whole new blog that has ideas for elementary, middle school, high school, post-secondary, and coaching. And you can find that right on the blog. But what I want to do is point out, if you go to flipgrid.com, all you have to simply do is scroll down. You're going to find tons of information, tons of resources, a getting started guide. We do webinars all the time in our help center. It's all there for you, as well as a remote learning guide right at the top of flipgrid.com. So let us know how we can help you. And I mean it when I say we're teachers helping teachers. And on behalf of all of Team Flipgrid, we are inspired by everything folks are doing every single day. And
well, thank you so much, Ann. That was beautiful. You're just the best ever. Sorry we had a tiny little glitch. It's just the night for tech issues. But you know what? It was worth it because I really feel like a lot of educators got great ideas. I feel like people that are going to watch this on the replay are like, okay, if she can do, if Tara can do it, then I can do it. Because it's true. It's truly just a couple of button clicks, and setting it up is so easy. So setting up a topic, very simple, and everything on their website explains everything. I do have a page on my website too. So if you go to taraandmartin.com and you go to real engagement, you can find Flipgrid features at the bottom, which also has their discovery button featured there as well. So thank you so much for joining us, and we love you so much.
Oh my gosh, all the feels, my friend, and it's like all the squeezy hugs, and to DBC Inc. and all of you for all you do and all you share. Thank you, and anybody out there listening, mwah, thank you all.
Agreed. She's just a bundle of joy. And if they don't already follow you, where can they find you? I know they know where to find Flipgrid, but I want them to find you because your energy is infectious and I love it. And by the way, if you ever meet Ann, you got to give her a big squeezy hug because she's the best hugger in the world.
Oh, friend, thank you. So of course at Flipgrid, hashtag Flipgrid for all, but I'm across every social platform you could imagine at Ann Kozma 723, ANNKOZMA 723.
Awesome. Well, there you have it, friends. We hope to hear about the ways you're using Flipgrid in your anywhere learning setting. Remember, this can be face-to-face. This can be remote. It works everywhere. That's why we call it the anywhere learning setting activity. So thank you so much for joining us, Ann. We appreciate you, and we appreciate all of you that joined. Remember, in the next hour, we're going to choose one of the comments to win a free book of choice. So be looking out for that. Bye, everyone.